Kahala Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, Yahweh, being the true name of the Father, as the word ignorantly calls God, Yahweh Shai, being the true name of the Son, as the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, along with the Holy Spirit, who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, and to the brothers that's pushing this truth in sincerity, risking life and freedom to do so. And shalom to the brothers and sisters that are listening and learning. This is your brother Labah coming to you with another lesson in truth. And the name of this lesson is going to be entitled, How Do You Know You're a Hebrew Israelite? How do you know that you are a Hebrew Israelite? So let's get straight into this lesson. All right, first off, you have to understand what Hebrew Israelite means. So that's not a group, it's not an organization, it's not a cult, all right? It's not a religion. It's a race of people, all right? Abraham was called the first Hebrew, all right, when his name was called Abram, all right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob later got his name changed to Israel, so that's how you got the term Hebrew Israelite, right? Which Hebrew is our spoken language. We didn't speak no goddamn English, all right? So let's get into this, and this applies to the other tribes as well. You so-called Jamaicans, you so-called Haitians, you so-called Puerto Ricans, all right? You so-called blacks, all right? So first off, you have to understand that the so-called nations today, the so-called white man changed, all right, name lands and he renamed the people, all right, these names that he saw fit. All right. And you look up and, go back and backtrack a lot of these so-called races and nationalities. They go back to nonsense. It's just bywords. Like black is a color. All right. And you look at our people's skin complexion, the skin tone is various shades of brown overall. All right. No one's the color black and no one's the color white. Right. So let me show you something real quick before I get deep into this lesson. All right, so these are the 18 nations that the Lord created. All right, so you don't see so-called, black race, so-called Jamaicans, so-called Puerto Ricans, so on and so forth, man. All right, so number one be Israel, and that's how you say it in the Hebrew tongue is Yasharallah. All right, and that's the 12 tribes of Israel. You so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native American, and the scattered among the heathens, the scattered Israelites among the heathen that look like the heathen. All right. Number two would be the so-called white man, Adawam, which means Edom. All right. That's the so-called white man, biblical nationality. All right. That he's running from. All right. And so on and so forth. You can screenshot this, but the so-called white man renamed everybody. All right. This is his rulership. This is his dominion in wickedness, man. So let's go here. It says white Salakia, White History Month. It says white people were invented in 1681. So that's where that term white was put into law. All right, in 1681. You can do your research on it. Salakia. One second. I'm not going to get too deep in this article. It says the idea to create white people to group distinct Salakia. It says what happened in 1681 to cause colonial lawmakers to create classification of people who had never considered themselves a group before. So that's when you got the birth of the so-called white term. All right. So let's get into how do you know you're a Hebrew Israelite? Salakia. And first, one of the first indicators would be the curses. All right. So our people will be suffering curses that we under to this very day. All right. You can read the whole book of Deuteronomy 28, and this will be a future prophecy that will still be in effect to this very day on the Israelites. All right. And, first off, it goes back into your seed line to your father. So if your father backtracks to to the seed of Israel. Seed goes back into semen. So if you come through that bloodline, all right, you're a Hebrew Israelite, all right. And another, like I said, going back into the curses, there will be another indicator that you'll be a Hebrew Israelite. Your father was a so-called black man, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American, so-called Jamaican, so-called Haitian, all right. So let's get into the curses that will be on the Israelites to this very day. All right, I'm gonna see if who this applies to. And another thing I want to make very clear too: the so-called Jewish people that's in the land of Israel that created that in 1948 through the Balfour Declaration. You can do your own research on that. All right, are not the true people. All right, that's all a lie. And how you gonna have the 12 tribes of Jewish? All right, they don't even make coherent sense. It's 12 tribes of Israel. If they say they're supposed to be the Jews, that's just one tribe. You cannot have a nation of Israel with just one tribe. All right, and Jew go back to Judah. How you gonna have 12 tribes of Judah? That's what that nigga Kanye West said, which is bugged out. It's the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, let's get into these curses, man. So these curses will be on these very same people to this very day, and this will be on the true Israelites. Deuteronomy 28. Let's go to 41. It says, "Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity." What is the most documented slave trade? The transatlantic slave trade, which you had the triangular slave trade from Europe. You know what I'm saying? West coast of Africa, and going back into North, Central, and South America, man. All right, they was trading and selling our people for goods and so on and so forth. All right. 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. We the number one people in poverty. All right, we caught catching all kind of hell. We got the worst, health care, so to speak. All right, we're on the bottom of every stat for the most, man. We're the most oppressed, most looked down on, most subjugated. You know what I'm saying? Most undereducated people. All right, all right. When all these curses have pretty much overtaken us, man. And the so-called white man, the so-called average white family makes 10 times to 15 times more than the average so-called black family. All right. Let's get more into this, man. 44. And he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. That's why you got to go get a goddamn loan to get a car, to get a home, all right? To do anything, pretty much. You don't have no so-called wealth, man. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. So the so-called white man has been elevated and exalted over you so-called blacks, Hispanic, and Native Americans, all right? Through his conquest and through rape, rob, and pillaging, all right? Deception, his so-called new form of religion called Christianity, all right? Let's get more into this. It says 45, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Our people are destroyed physically, mentally, and spiritually. All right, there's no people in this condition that you can name on this earth, man. And Jacob Jacob talk shit about how we messed up as the people. When you tell them about why it's like this, they don't want to accept it, man. They're looking for some other way, some other reason, right? Because thou hearken is not. So our people didn't listen. Hard-headed ass people, man. All right. Not unto the voice of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded. So that's why you see our people in this state they in to this very day. They are completely lost their mind, lost hope, and in this degenerate, lost state, man. Don't even know who they is. They call themselves a crayon color. 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign, so to let you know who the Israelites will be today, who you would be, how you know you're an Israelite, because these curses will be attached to you, man. All right. And for a wonder upon thy seeds forever. So a very long time until the Lord come redeem us out this nightmare called America, man. All right. Let's get more into this. 48. So this happened to the Israelites, man. 48. Listen up. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies. Did we not serve our enemies over here? We still serving our enemies on these jobs. all right, in different ways, forms, and fashions. All right. They still got this oppressive system that's set up and we serve them. All right. Let me read 48 again. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, all right, which the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah shall send upon thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and want of all things, clothing, food, car. Your bare necessities, you got to go to the so-called white man. You don't control nothing, man. All right? Nothing. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck. That's heavy. If you go Google a picture of yoke of iron, you're going to see so-called black men, which would be so-called Jamaicans, so-called black, so-called Haitians with yoke of irons, around their neck. All right. Until he have destroyed these. So these curses and this prophecy will be on the Israelites to this very day. All right. Let's go here. We ain't gonna get too much out of pocket. I think I'm gonna do a part 2 because there's so much to get to. This is the book of Jeremiah 17:4, King James Bible. It says, and thou even thyself shall discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. So the real Israelites will be discontinued from their heritage, will be their customs, their traditions, their language, the way they dress, all right, what they ate. They will be discontinued, lost, all right, in this bugged out state that our people find themselves in, all right. They will go into these slave ships, man, and be sold to their enemies, all right. And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in a land which thou knowest not, for you have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. A very long time till the Lord come redeem us out this hellhole. All right, let's go to this word heritage. All right, because we lost in the sauce as a people. Our people went from Negro, they went from colored, they went from African American, they went to black. They have an identity crisis, man, because they don't know who they is. All right, heritage. Salakia. It says the traditions, the achievements. That's heavy. The traditions, because you do the so-called white man traditions: Valentine's Day, Christmas, New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, 4th of July. All right, you can go to show y'all people are bugged out because when we tell them about the traditions that we did in the Bible, they don't. It's like we speaking another language to them, and they go to show you that whole house called the Christian church ain't been teaching our people shit, man. Just calling like how it is. It says achievements. It says beliefs. That's heavy. So you'll be discontinued from what you believed in, your traditions, so on and so forth, man. It says, check this out. Something that is passed down from preceding generations, a tradition. All right. And that's why people love eating pork chops and just so on and so forth, because these was a tradition of death that was passed down to our people. All right, let's go to this word discontinue. It says to put to an end, stop, terminate. So your heritage, your way of life will be terminated. It'll be coming to a stop. All right. You be calling yourself these bywords. All right. But it's hope, right? Because the real Israelites will be waking up at this particular point in time. Baruch 2:30, for I knew that they would not hear me, because this is a stiff-necked people, a hard-headed fucking people, man. But in the land of their captivities, we went in captivity to all these different nations, predominantly North, Central, and South America. All right. But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. What does this mean? They're going to remember their Israelites. They're going to wake up to the identity. They're going to put down these corporate names, put down the damn pork chop sandwich. All right. Start, coming back to the Lord ways, statute, laws, and commandments. Because our spirit bears spirit with the Lord, that we are his children of the Most High. All right. Let me get into that. Salakia. So we know who we is, man. The Lord put a heavy spirit on us to understand this. Romans 8:16. It says, the spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are children of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. So we know we Israelites in spirit and do, physical, they even got DNA, which we don't get too caught up in that. But if your father was so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American, Jamaican, Levite, like you're Haitian, you're an Israelite, man. All right. And I'm going to do a part 2 to elaborate on this more. Call Hala Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Rakakwadah, Shalom.